Thanks to the support as a channel member, Sam Porter. I have never been this organised going into a summer, Mrs Wearmouth. 7 transfers already arranged. Almost all of the budget already spent. The only way we're going to be able to shuffle this around anymore is if you can maybe sneak me a little bit more cash. Maybe we'll sell a star or two. Or perhaps we'll just enjoy moving into the new stadium. Welcome to part 99 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special for a summer where I've been ever so organised. You wouldn't believe how organised I've already would, because I've already shown you a lot of this over the recent episodes. But looking at our future transfers page, we've already got all of these players due to arrive. Not all of them this summer, actually. I think that guy, Passotti, will be joining us in January. But every other one of these players is going to be joining us during this episode. And this is where we find out if our scouts are any good and if the policy we've been doing this year has been a good one or if we've made a terrible mistake. I hope we've not made a terrible mistake. I hope we've got some stars about to arrive. I think this does use up all of our under 18 foreign players. 1, 2, 3, 4, under 21, sorry. 4, 5. So to me, that's 7. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wonder if when Passotti tries to arrive, the deal will fall through. Because that looks to me like all 6 of our foreign under 21 players is used up. I'm not going to argue with it. If we're allowed to bring them all in, we'll bring them all in. It does mean that any other transfers we do this summer are going to have to be UK based. They're going to have to be domestic players. They don't necessarily have to be British. They could be foreign players who are currently at English clubs, but we can only do domestic transfers now for the rest of the summer. Not that there's much money left. I mean, you can see we've got £2.62 million of this season's budget left, and we've already spent the majority of next season's budget as well, less than £8 million available left on that. But there's the possibility that we'll sell some fringe players and we might get a little bit more money come through. The actual banking situation is a pretty solid one, £35 million in the bank, with a projection of it staying roughly at that level, even with all the stuff that we've got on there. So the books are being balanced at the moment. We move into our new ground this summer. So we'll see. We shall see. But first, let's do our season review for what has been the best ever finish for this football club. It was always going to be. It was our first season in the Premier League. Here's one for everybody to celebrate. Signing of the season, Alex Williams. The board are extremely disappointed with the amount of money we spent on him. It sounds like Mrs Wearmouth is very much in agreement with you lot, but I think everyone's now come around to the idea of now he's here, he is the best goalkeeper at the club. He got the highest average rating of anyone who played more than half the games. You can see Richardson, who also came in this summer for a similar kind of money. And again, the board weren't very happy about that, but he averaged a 7.18. And I think Mrs Wearmouth is going to just have to be grumpy sometimes with some of the fees that we pay on some of these English transfers. The foreign ones, we can get bargains on. As you can see, she's a little happy with those. But the domestic ones, like Curry, like Williams, like Richardson, you always pay extra for a player to be English. And when we're only able to sign under 18s or homegrown players, we're going to overpay. But hopefully they'll still end up being awesome. So we were supposed to battle against relegation. We finished 15th. All very good stuff. Interestingly, our average home attendance of 16,000 is actually higher than the capacity on our new stadium. So we might have to immediately expand the new stadium. I don't know how Mrs Wearmouth is going to feel about that. And Costa Bile finished our top scorer on 14 goals, which is a pretty good goal return for a player who didn't play every single game for us. We'll have a look at that in a second. Reputation-wise, we've got a boost from 3-star to 3.5-star, so that should help with bringing in players. We might actually be able to sign a wonder kid at some point, and we've signed some very good young players, and some of these players coming in this summer look very talented, but no one's actually had the wonder kid media description yet. But hitting 3.5 stars, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to bring in a wonder kid at some point. But you can see all of the money stuff has gone up, as you would expect going up into the Premier League. Broadcast revenue's insane. We've started to get some decent sponsorships and corporate stuff through. Prize money is nuts as well. There's just lots and lots of money. But even with all that money flowing around, the 3 players who sell the most shirts are the 3 that came through the youth system 10 years ago. Sir Harrison Davies, Nathan Curry and Kieran Hodgkinson, the three amigos of Holme FC. And this is our team of the year. Williams in goal, a back four of McCartan, Cardona, Davies and Curry, Hodgkinson and Collier in midfield. Interesting to see Collier in there because he lost his place quite early on in the year and never really won it back. Akani played far more games than Collier in central midfield, but Collier getting the nod, even though he only averaged a 6.66. But I guess he did get 5 goals in that time, so it's a pretty good goal return. And then Richardson getting in ahead of Richards on the left-hand side because he was just brilliant in that second half of the season when he broke into the team. Blamplate getting in ahead of Connor Roberts, despite Roberts playing far more games. I hear you, comment section. And Renan and Costabile, no real surprise for those two. What I am surprised to see that Costabile started 30 games. I actually thought he started far fewer than that. 18 goals from 30 games is still a very good return. And once again, Renan's season cut short by injury, only 33 appearances from him. And the usual suspects playing lots of games. Williams, Curry, Hodgkinson. Davies missed a few games of injury, but McCartan getting a solid number of appearances in this year as well. Apparently, I won the Championship Manager of the Year. We were in the Premier League, but I'll take it. Fans Player of the Year, as you would expect, Sir Harrison Davies, now 28 years old. He's got years ahead of him yet. Young Player of the Year to Kenlyn Richardson, justifying all the money we spent on him in the summer, and signing of the season to Williams. Again, I'm taking that as justification. Goal of the season is Nathan Curry. Someone else we spent a lot of money on. Top scorer is Costabile with 18. Most assists is Richards with 8. Williams got the highest average rating, 7.2, and the most man of the matches. And Akani with the best pass completion. And we actually got, again, these that's a rollover from the year before. Championship Player of the Year went to Davies. That happened last year. It must have happened after the cutoff, maybe. I'm not really sure. And English Players Young Player of the Year. So Kenlyn Richardson has won the English Young Player of the Year award, which is very, very exciting looking ahead to his future England player there, I think. And we've had a few club records broken. Costabile with that 4-goal in 30-minute performance that he had to kind of turn the season around when he came back into the team and ended our run of terrible results. But that's most goals ever scored by a home player in a match and by a home player in a league match. And Harrison Davies extending his own record that will never be beaten. 395 appearances now for the club, and he'll continue to add to those next season because that's what he does. Let's see if, obviously, we've never really finished. I don't think we've ever finished in the bottom half of the table before, have we? We had that one dodgy season in the Championship, but we're setting all these record lows, but it's the Premier League. They don't count. Our all-time best 11 then. Quite a few players being added to this, I think. Is it? Oh no, Joe Barr's been added. I thought Oliver Wright was still the goalkeeper, but William is in. I like the fact that it's got this note in there. The club is rightly proud to have produced the likes of Alex Williams, Nathan Curry, Sir Harrison Davies and Kieran Hodgkinson in what will go down as a true golden generation. To have 4 homegrown youth academy players like that all come through at the same time and become 4 of the best players in the club's history is pretty impressive. But your all-time best 11 is Williams in goal, Eli Campbell at left back, who's now playing for Orlando City. We sold him to Hull. He's now gone off to play in the MLS. Shay Charles partnering Harrison Davies at the back. He's now at Wimbledon. We sold him to Forest. And it looks like he's finally playing regularly again in League One for Wimbledon, which is nice to see. I don't think he's going to be in the all-time best 11 much longer. And Nathan Curry in at right back. Slam Dunk in midfield, who is still manager of Millwall. Millwall finished 18th in the Championship. A little bit disappointing for Slam Dunk. Would like to see him progress his managerial career. I'd hate to think we've seen the last of Slam Dunk with his shenanigans at the end of last year. And then Hodgkinson in midfield alongside Micah Hamilton, who has now got his permanent move to Motherwell confirmed. He's been there on loan all year. He's joining them for 3.7 million, I think it is. And then Terrell Whitaker on the right-hand side of midfield, who is still playing for Blackpool down in League Two. I think he's the only one of the bunch who went to Blackpool who's still there. And then up front, Micah Beerith, who's now still at Bolton. He's been there a few years now, still not recaptured his goal-scoring exploits. And Tommy Jessup, the other striker, who is still at Hull, who we sold him to, but not playing or scoring in League One, shows that I think that suggests I was probably right to give up on Tommy Jessup when I did. The bench has Oliver Wright, who is now at Hartlepool. He's the number 1 at Hartlepool and playing regularly in League Two, back in the Football League for Captain Cartwheel. Joe Barr, obviously, is still here. Mauro Bandera is at Coventry, now 28 years old, Bandera, but playing for Coventry-ish in League One. Renan obviously still with us. Danny Pritchard has retired. So he went to Blackpool. He left us to go to Tranmere, then went to Blackpool, but has retired as a player, age 27. A little bit of a shame that we weren't able to bring him into our coaching structure, really. I would have liked to have brought him into the club after 8 years here. And he was very much a cult hero at the club. But Danny Pritchard now retired. Callum Cisse is at Colchester, playing regularly in League One. Then lastly, Troy Cannon, who's gone to McDonald's, where he's scoring, that's where he left us to go, scoring reasonably regularly in League One for them, which is nice to see. It's a shame he's doing it for Milton Keynes, really. But I guess we were hanging out with Troy Cannon a lot this year, because we spent the whole year playing at Milton Keynes. Troy Cannon's just pretending he's still a home player. Right, let's have a look through, see if there's anything else on here we need to know about before we get ready to welcome our new players in. Mrs Wearmouth looking for us to fight bravely against relegation again. She's very aware of second season syndrome. I think we're all alert for the possibility of that happening. Certainly, if these, even then, I'm not being realistic by saying let's not get involved in a relegation battle, which, I don't know, I don't feel like we were in a relegation battle this year. But a lot depends on how good these Brazilians that are coming in are. If they're as good as I hope they are, then we won't be in a relegation battle. If they're not, second season syndrome could be a real thing. We're going to go off to the USA for our pre-season tour. And there's your confirmation. Kenlyn Richardson, English Players Player of the Year. And he's dedicated it to me. What a wonderful man. It's about time he made his England debut, I think. If he's that good, get him in the England squad. Still got 5-star potential as well. We've got a good one there. And bearing in mind, Ola Richards in his same position won that Next Gen award. How good must Kenlyn Richardson be? Oof. Right, fast forward. Give me some Brazilians or the new stadium. I'll take either of them first. Not bothered which order. Mrs Wearmouth is a wonderful thing. She's just given us our budgets. And despite me already spending most of the season's wage budget, she's only gone and given me £30 million to spend and massively increased our wage budget. We can go and find ourselves some English stars like Richardson. We're probably only going to be able to get a couple, but even with all my Brazilians coming in, we've still got 30 million and a massive wage budget increase. We are not getting relegated. Second season syndrome can do one. Right, first batch of these players are in, so let's have a look to see if they're any good. First up, we have Josue Martinez, who's the one that we arranged over a year ago. And you can tell we picked this guy when we were in the championship. I mean, he looks fine. He's almost as good as Jack Green already, and has plenty of potential. He's a potential Premier League goalkeeper. It's not a terrible signing. It's just at this point with Williams and Green at the club, we didn't really need to use one of our 6 foreign players on him, which is a little bit of a shame. Parasato, though, we knew this guy was going to be good. We wanted to bring him in January, but couldn't get the deal done in time. But Damian Parasato, Argentinian under-20 international, 18 years old, can play, or he is a right wing back, but he's also natural, playing as an inverted wing back on the left-hand side. We're obviously bringing him in to play right back. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, makes him almost as good as Nathan Curry, but with that potential to be better. I expect him to be our right back for years to come. Luquinas is an 18-year-old Brazilian under-19 international striker. He's only got 8 finishing, which I'm sure you lot will love. You love a finisher, a striker with low finishing. To be honest, he's coming in to play on either wing, really. I think he's going to be more of a threat from out wide on either side. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. There you go. It even says there, potential to be a Premier League left winger in future. So that's probably where we'll focus on playing him. Could be the next Ronaldo. Hold on. Have we got any could be the nexts here? No. Is he a could be the next anyone or a wonder kid? No. I didn't notice. Is he a wonder kid or is he just potentially the next Ronaldo? So not a wonder kid, but could be the next Ronaldo. I'd take the next Ronaldo, I think. I think that'd probably be okay. And then the pick of this first bunch, Janos Fazikas, who's an 18-year-old Hungarian international. He's a centre-back. He can play full-back on either side as well, but he's our new main centre-back. He'll come in, partner Harrison Davies initially, I should think. Long-term, likely to be partnering Cardona as Davies starts to move down the pecking order a little bit. My assistant manager's pushing for him to be a right back, but at 6'2" and 7 crossing, this guy's a centre back without any question, and he's a very good one as well. Comes in from Ferencváros. And they all need to go and learn English, so we'll send them off on their English courses. And there are still more coming. These are just the ones that have come through at the start of the transfer window, and so they get the longest time to bed in over the summer. And I think you'd expect certainly the 3 outfield players to all be part of our first team squad next year. I don't think they're the kind of players who are going to come in and be loaned straight out. I think they're here to get in that mix and be regular players for us next year. Are we moving into the ground yet? Not quite. Derek Mcgowan. I forgot about this guy. Remember Derek Mcgowan? 21 years old now. He's up to 2.5-star current ability. So he's only our 7th best centre-back. He's still got quite high potential, though. He came through our youth system, but we've been loaning him out for years. I think if we were still in the Championship, he'd be great. As it is, I doubt. If he's not made it at 21... I don't think he's likely to get in the team now. We're talking in the same clip as we're talking about phasing Harrison Davies out and Alec Lay potentially going out on loan. I don't think Derek Mcgowan is ever going to make it for us. It's a shame that Lay at 22 probably isn't going to make it either. He's another one who we've kind of outgrown as a club. 6th choice centre-back now. Part of me thinks we should be selling him rather than loaning him out, but maybe loan him out for a year to bump up his value a little bit, because I feel like he should probably be worth more than it shows on there. But I think there's arguments for loaning out all 3 of those guys, even though they've been in and around the first team squad for the last year. Jørn Andersen's our 3rd choice right back, but Perisato's just come in and would be our 5th choice centre back. Yeah, I think, you know what? We're going to loan all of them out and see if we can get them season-long loans. And Joe Barr can be moved down to a squad player. I'm not going to argue with any of that. Curry's just going to tickle Joe Barr to make him go along with it. That's exactly what he has done. So finances still looking beautiful. Team report is now looking like this. So the defence certainly starting to look a little bit more bolstered by the deals that have just come in. And there's still more to come, plus £30 million to spend on domestic players. Oh, lovely summer. Boys and girls, I've realised I've just made a mistake. We were bringing in a couple of out-of-contract players. I had it filtered to under 18. Didn't check when their birthdays are. This guy should be fine. And Nathan Mcphee, who's coming in from Celtic, and his birthday's in November. We're all good. This guy, though, Barry Parr, his birthday's in 2 days' time. He's going to be 19 when he arrives. So let me know down in the comments what I do. I guess we put him straight on the transfer list. I'm obviously never going to play him. I don't want to wreck morale by treating him like a monster. So maybe we'll put him in the reserves for a year, then sneakily sell him without anybody noticing. That might be the best thing to do. Boys and girls, we have the confirmation of the move to the new home of football. We are back in Peterborough. We had a ceremony and everything. So our new ground, 13,258 capacity, built in 2032. We now have undersoil heating. No roof, though. Hopefully this isn't going to be a return to matches constantly being called off for waterlogged pitches because we're below sea level. A roof would have been nice. With that, a roof keeps the water out, surely. What it does mean, of course, is that we've now got a smaller capacity than our average attendance last year. So I wonder if we can immediately go to Mrs Wearmouth and say, can you make the new home of football bigger, please? She's going to get back to me. Cool. Wow. I was going to ask for some other facilities too. That was a one request and you're done situation there. I mean, everything else is looking pretty solid. Perfect pitch, top corporate facilities, superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, youth level 1, exceptional academy coaching, exceptional youth recruitment. I want to get all this up to state of the art again. I was going to ask for some more because we've got loads of money in the bank, but I wonder if the fact that she only lets us ask for one thing means we are immediately going to start expanding the stadium. Tell me we're not going to have to go back to Milton Keynes to do it. No, she's rejected it. It would be irresponsible to speculate on any success you might bring to the club. What? Been here 13 years and we've gone up 8 leagues. I mean, factually, we got more fans last year. We don't have enough space to satisfy the demand for tickets. That is absolutely true. We agree. Therefore, we'll start the necessary work. Mrs Wearmouth, you are nothing if not a basket of contradictions. So we are now expanding the stadium. It's going to cost us another 4.6 million to add, what's that, another 4,000 seats, take us up to 17,500. That'll do nicely. It'll be done by December next year. So we're not starting it until next summer, and then it'll be done by next December. So, I mean, that's unfortunate that we've got to wait a year for us to start on it, but I guess it's all baby steps in the right direction. Have we had to pay for it now? No. That's all right then. We have another of our new boys in. Christian is here. He's an 18-year-old Brazilian central midfielder and attacking midfielder, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Should we do the Wonder Kid / who is he next? It's touted as the next Kaká. That'll do. We've got Ronaldo and Kaká in our team. That will do very nicely. He would be the 5th best central midfielder, almost as good as Alec Lay, but already as good as Renan and Ali Basic on the right wing. So I suspect you might find him out there. Although that being said, he's better in attacking central midfield than Connor Roberts. But then so's Kenlyn Richardson. Maybe Richards on the right side and Richardson in attacking midfield might be the thing for next year. But either way, Christian is in. Get him on a language course as well. I think we've still got one more of our pre-arranged transfers to come in. Let's just double check. So we've got the two. No, that's the guy who's now 19 that we need to cancel, but we can't. But we've got this guy, Emmanuel Lloyd, who is a left back. He comes in on the 1st of July. We should probably start trying to sign some players as well. But I'm happy with what we've got coming in. There you go. Tuna's getting a new contract. Lovely stuff. This is what the squad depth is looking like so far. We're already really good. We just need to find some English players. Meanwhile, I'm being offered more Brazilians. I can't sign any more Brazilians for a year. It's horrible. These are all too old anyway. Far too old. Bunch of old men. But we should have this filtered just to domestic-based players. I mean, I think the thing here, these are all the ones that are 100% scouted, sorted by scout recommendation. I think I'm probably just going to work down the list and just bring in all of the ones that we can. I don't think there's any of these that are necessarily going straight into the team. I think we're just going to sign a big pile of them. What's the worst that can happen? We've got 30 million to spend. Right, 2 new boys are in. We need to just give this guy a nickname. Do not use, just as a reminder, not to use him, which is a shame because he's quite good, isn't he? We just need to, let's just try and offer him straight out and see what happens. But this guy, Emmanuel Lloyd, Italian under-20 international, left back, left midfielder, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's another one who's right up there, better than McCartan, better than Francis. Perozzi supposedly is better than him, but Lloyd has better potential. We've signed 3 out of 4 potential new additions to our starting defence this summer already, which I'm quite impressed about. Let's give them some squad numbers. And that's not the button I was trying to press, but it'll do. Now that's all our foreigners in. It's time to spend the rest of the summer, effectively spend July, adding English talented youngsters to the squad. I don't know why I'm looking at this list. I can't sign any of them. Talented youngsters time. Right, we've got some youngsters coming in. Michael Watson is the first. He's a 17-year-old Scottish goalkeeper because you can never have too many 5-star potential goalkeepers. He comes in as the 5th best one at the club, and he's in to make up the numbers. He's in because he's good and young, and you never know. We've got Keanu Wand, who's a right winger, 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's Australian. He came in from Exeter. Let's get him added into the squad as well. Sam Gillespie, he actually looks pretty good. A Scottish under-21 international, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Makes him one of the better right-backs that we've got at the club. He came in from Hamilton. Add him into squads as well. And then, the first team squad's getting pretty bloated. We've got some offers in for Anderson. I think Anderson benefits from a season playing in the Championship, so I'm accepting both of those loan offers. Our first team squad, currently, if we just get all of these players out of there so we can count exactly how many we've got. We currently have a first team squad of 30 people. And remember, no European football, obviously. So we need to get rid of at least 5 or 6 of these. Not necessarily get rid of, but loan out. Go get some game time. I don't think there's anybody we necessarily need to sell. Akani has made his Nigeria debut this summer, so he's now full international. McCartin has now made his debut for Northern Ireland, since played 3 games. So there's a few players down this end who are very much on the fringes of things, but I don't think anyone needs to be sold. There's no one down this end who's 25, 26 years old. I mean, the closest to being on the cusp are Renan and Joe Barr. And Renan is, he played 29 games for us last year. I expect Renan will still be a key part of the squad going forward into this season. So I don't think there's anyone who needs to go. The obvious one who was a little bit older and wasn't up to it anymore was Micah Hamilton, and he's already gone earlier this summer. So I think we just need to loan 5 or 6 of these out and slim this squad down a little bit. So that's the plan. Continue to bring in youngsters, loan out some of the older ones, get down to like a 25-man squad by the first day of the season. Everyone's happy. We've arranged another Wearmouth Cup as well. The calibre of clubs coming along for the Wearmouth Cup now is spectacular. If we can win it this year, we're a very, very, very good side. We've got a couple more players in. I think we got as far as Gillespie before. Nigel Merrin has turned up. He's an 18-year-old striker, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's in from Portsmouth, previously of Wigan. And I think we were aware of him when he was at Wigan, but he's gone to Portsmouth last season. Got 6 goals from 5 substitute appearances in the Championship. Yes, we'll have ourselves some of that, please. And then Nathan Rowe comes in from Forest. He's a centre-back, a 6'5" centre-back, potential not quite where I'd like it to be, really. I think that might be a bit of a misstep. So we're going to slow down on the bringing in of youngsters and maybe keep some of our powder dry for January. We've still got 18 million or so. If there's anyone really, really good who shows up, we'll probably go for them. But otherwise, the rest of this summer is going to be about getting some players out on loan for some game time. The first team player who's done that is Daniel Onyango, who's going to go on loan for the year to Dundee United. He's 23 years old now and never been a regular starter. I think we're probably done with Onyango, but we'll give him one more year. If he can't force his way in with a year away at Dundee United, we'll look to sell him next summer. And it will be sad, but we are reaching that point now where some of these boys just aren't going to make the grade. Well, it seems this year in the Premier League has made people notice me. I've just been offered 3 different international jobs, England, France, and Portugal. I'm going to turn them all down. I don't really have any interest in international management in this save. I guess it would be quite fun to manage England and cap all of my players, but that's pretty much all I'd use it for. So we'll give all of those a miss, but it's nice to be wanted. Well, we managed to get a few more of the players to go out on loan. McDonald's gone out on loan to Barnsley. Perozzi's gone to Dundee United. Grucock's gone out to Coventry for the season. Keita's gone to Dundee for the season. Mcgowan's gone back on loan again. We still have a very bloated first team squad going into this Premier League season. 27 players, but ultimately, a lot of them are young. Yes, it's a 27-man squad, but 11 of them are teenagers. So you could just as easily move half of them at least into the under-23s, probably the half that aren't going to be playing in that first game of the season. And then it's a more reasonable size. So I think it's just that we've got a lot of our younger players up in our first team squad. So I'm less worried about things than I was. I do have some other news for you as well. Mrs Wearmouth has finally made it onto the favoured personnel list. It's still just me and Sir Harrison as the club legends, Slam Dunk and Tommy Jessup as icons, Shay Charles, Danny Pritchard, Micah Beerith, Mrs Wearmouth on the favoured personnel list. I think there's probably a few boys who've been around a little bit of a long time now. He should be making it onto that list. I'm looking at this. Micah Hamilton, I think it's a bit harsh. He's not on the favoured personnel. Nathan Curry should definitely be on there somewhere. And I would argue probably Alex Williams as well. He's played 272 times for the club. It's quite interesting just to see how many appearances some of these players have got. Harrison Davies, 480 in all competitions. Who's the next most appearance-did player? Hamilton, Curry, Hodgkinson, all around 350 appearances. And there's 2 players who've scored more than 100 goals in the history of the club. Micah Beer for 129. Troy Cannon with 105. We need to get the new man to get up to that kind of level. Does he exist within the current setup? Who knows? Let's have a look at what the media think we're going to do this season. So season preview has us in 19th place, newly promoted Stoke. Look at the favourites to go back down. Blackburn also in that mix as well. Watford up in 9th place, having just got promoted. I'd like to think we've got as good a chance as Watford of staying in this division. And how far do we have to scroll before we see a home player on this list of key players? Are we going to be right down the bottom of this list again? There's Kieran Hodgkinson, so he's above both Burnley players, both Stoke players, one of the Blackburn players, and Alex Williams is our second best player, apparently, according to that. So I think that gets you through our summer. We still have an absolute ton of money to spend, loads of wage budget, loads of transfer budget, but I'm not really in any rush. If we have a look at my scouted players, the ones that have got 100% scouting, the top ones are all unavailable because they're all under 21 foreign players. If we take them out of the equation, just take them out and just limit this to players based in the UK and Ireland, there are some good ones out there, but none of them are available. The clubs don't want to sell. I don't want to be spending £1 gazillion on players. I mean, the fact that he's got 3.5-star current ability, yeah, that's really appealing. That's a centre-back who could potentially come straight into our team or certainly straight into our squad. But how much are they going to want for him? They don't want to sell. Well, a QPR in our division. It seems silly that we can't force a player away from QPR. Let's make an inquiry. But, I mean, they'll want 30 million or something ridiculous. We ain't going to get him. So I think this is probably what we're going to be going with for the season. This is likely to be our team for the first day of the season. Connor Roberts starting. Christian will probably take that spot in the squad fairly early on this season. We're going to be starting with Fazikas and Parasato and the new boys who've just come in, Sebastião on the right as well. Interestingly, when I quick pick the bench, Renan doesn't even get on the bench anymore. Neither does Alec Lay. Cardona's injured, so we don't need to worry too much about him. But Ola Richards as well, not fully fit. We've got quite a strong squad going into this new season. We ain't going down, that's for sure. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.